Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto, and I'm the host of the show. And with me today is Grant Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Mary.
Well, I'm glad to have you as a guest, and we'll just start right in if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay. To begin with, Grant, I was looking at your resume, and I noticed that it says Grant and then Fat Johnson. And so I was wondering if you want to share with the viewers how you got that Fat name in there.
That's kind of interesting. I was born in 1916, and I was the heaviest baby ever born in Two Harbors. I weighed 12.5 pounds. And somebody nicknamed me Fat, and it was my mother. Because the kids used to call up and say, "Is Fat there?" And she'd say, "There's nobody here but that name." But that name stuck until I was 5 years old and had a goiter operation, and I became thin ever after. But I couldn't get rid of that nickname Fat. And today, I collect nicknames for Two Harbors, and I just wrote an article for the Detroit Lakes paper here recently. It's going to be published. I've got over 264 names, nicknames.
You have 264 nicknames in there.
And people are kind of interested in that. In fact, I wrote the editor, not the editor, but the fellow that buries us.
The funeral director?
The undertaker, yeah. And I told him one time, I said to the editor of the paper, put their nicknames in. These Johnsons, Swansons, and Nelsons all got, there's so many of them. I said, but you put the nickname, we'll know who he is. Mm-hmm. So he agreed to do it.
He did.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Well, then when I went to the university, or John Cunliffe came to see me one winter and spent 2 weeks with me. And my oldest brother got a job on the railroad company, and they called him Spike. He worked on the section. And John liked that name, and he gave me the name Spike. And John went back, and he started calling me Spike, and everybody at the university called me Spike. So that's how you get a nickname.
I guess so. Somebody just gives you one. So you are actually Grant Fat Spike Johnson. Is that correct?
That's right.
Well, let's start by let's continue with talking a little bit about your connection to Detroit Lakes. When did you move to Detroit Lakes and why?
I moved to Detroit Lakes in 1951, and I came here from Mountain Lake, Minnesota. And I don't know why I came to Detroit Lakes. There was a lady on the school board by the name of Mrs. Carpenter, a wonderful lady. And I had just finished, we had the end of the school year down in Mountain Lake, and then it was Saturday. I was interviewing a teacher for a job. And after I got done, this lady was sitting out there in the room there, and I said to her, "Gee, I can't interview you because you haven't got your portfolio here." She says, "I'm not interviewing for a job. I'm interviewing you for a job." She says, "I want you to come to Detroit Lakes." Well, I had loved it at Mountain Lake. They treated me well, and the salary was good, and we had 3 championship teams go to the basketball tournament. I was living high, and everything was good. So she said, "Well, just come and we'll pay your way." I went up here, and I was extremely disappointed. The old building, Holmes building, was 1907, and I said to my wife, "We're not going to take this job." But the superintendent of schools for the state of Minnesota called me and said, "You ought to take that job. It's one of the larger schools in the state." And I said, "Have you ever been to Detroit Lakes?" I said, "It's the most run-down school system in the state." I was very negative, and I'm sorry to say that. But it was, like I say, they had an old school building. Mm-hmm. They needed lots of repair, lots of work. But I took the job, and the reason I took the job was I had to hire 32 new teachers and a principal. And it's the dream of every superintendent to be able to hire his own staff. And I hired some terrific people. And I would say one of the greatest things I did for the 15 years here was that I established a a system of teachers here that are some of the finest in the state. In fact, Dr. Kesey at Moorhead State says you got the finest staff in any school around it, including Moorhead and Fergus Falls, which was quite a compliment.
So how long were you the superintendent in Detroit Lakes?
I was here for 15 years.
15 years,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of, I understand that you were instrumental in the high school building that we now have in Detroit Lakes. Is that right?
I built that.
Okay.
Well, I didn't build it. I constructed it. I went down and hired two architects from at St. Cloud who had built St. John's University. A lot of their buildings I was impressed with. And we drew up a terrific building. In fact, the university, not the university, but Michigan State University at Lansing, Michigan, said it was one of the 6 best schools they selected that year in the United States. They were so proud of it. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a model school. Mm-hmm. I loved that school.
Mm-hmm. And so the junior high stayed in the Holmes building at that time, and then the high school was moved out.
We made that totally into a junior high school.
Okay. And then what about the football field? Was that the football field that was there originally, or you picture the football field?
No. We made a brand new field.
Okay.
And now today it was named after a coach there that passed away. Mm-hmm. We had new auditorium. Everything was new. In fact, we put in a new swimming pool, and it was one of the first swimming pools built north of the Twin Cities after St. Cloud. And I was real proud of that. But everybody said, what do you need a swimming pool for? We got all these lakes here, they can swim there. But it's one of the best things we ever built.
Sure.
And I think it's got a lot of use.
Yes, it has gotten a lot of use and continues to do so.
Yeah.
So how many years were you the superintendent, did you say? 15?
I was 15
15 years,
yeah.
Okay. And after you left Detroit Lakes as the superintendent, what did you do then?
Well, I want to mention one thing here that I did that was very unique at that time.
Okay.
I consolidated 22 rural schools. And by doing that, we broadened the tax base and brought all the kids. I ran 44 buses, and we hauled all the kids into town. We had some satellite schools like out at Callaway and out at Strawberry Lake, but for the most part, we moved all the rural kids into town, and they seemed to enjoy it.
They did.
In fact, I always thought they were better students than the kids in town because they didn't want to stay home and work.
That's right. They were glad to be at school, right?
That's right.
Absolutely be glad to be at school.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to conclude part 1 of my interview with Grant Johnson. I hope that you'll tune in again to see parts 2, 3, and 4, where we focus not only the work that he's done in education, but his work that he's done in sports and anything else that Grant wants to talk about. He's a very interesting man. So I hope you'll join us for the next segment of Inspiring People with Grant Johnson.